Fingers crossed. Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat or Catherine, and this is a slightly different format of an episode. Today I am going to be talking about my first year of knitting summer-ish items. So for my first year of knitting I did a video showing all of the jumpers that I knit, pretty much. I'm going to try and do a second one, so closer to 2 years, so I think that's the middle of September. I will do a full year of my second year in garments and maybe touch on which of the ones that I knitted in my first year were particularly long lasting, that I loved, you know, things like that. So if you want to join for this slightly different episode, please stick around. If this isn't for you and you're more after a standard format of finished objects, works in progresses, and a little touch on the adventures we have, then maybe head to my last episode or maybe my future one at this point, I don't know. But if you're new here, welcome. Like I said, slightly different. If you've been here before, welcome. You might see a couple of new items that I haven't shared before on the podcast, and that's partly bad housekeeping, I guess, and secondly, one is a new one, so I haven't yet shared it. I have a sort of iced coffee. I was gonna put the coffee machine on today, but I actually don't fancy it, and I remembered that I'm going to be shutting the door because again there's still a lot of housework, so I've done my best with the sound, but I'm drinking it is sort of iced coffee. I've used an AeroPress to pour it through, and I have a bit of a cardamom sort of blend in there too, just because I'm feeling a bit, I was gonna say frisky, that's not the right word, is it? Adventurous. But it is very nice. And so yeah, let's dive into this journey. It might take a little while, it might not take long at all, so we will see. Let's start with my very first one. This has been felted, so I should say that up front, but this was my test knit for Robin Knits. This, I believe, was my first ever test knit. It's called the Silver Springs t-shirt, and it's a very simple pattern. I really enjoyed knitting it. It was sort of my first jump into test knitting, and I think it's actually important to have mixed levels when you are getting test knitting done, because there was definitely things that I may have picked up on that, you know, weren't so clear to me, but once was explained, obviously it made sense, but then could have been expanded on. So that was quite interesting for me. This has, as you can see, been felted, so it went from being really oversized to fitting me kind of quite well, weirdly, but I do like an oversized fit, so I'm thinking I might actually make another one of these at some point. I'll see if I can put a picture on the screen, but I had a orange t-shirt that Alex will remember. It was a knitted material, and it's very hard to describe the fabric. It must have been acrylic of sorts, but it was, even when I got it, it must have been 30 years old or so. And I wore it all the time, to the point where it was covered in holes and it really had to go. And I feel like this is quite a good substitute for that. So I might knit myself an orange one, especially since my hair is not natural by any stretch, unfortunately, but it's a bit closer to what it should be. So that's the first one. I knit this in Qing Fibre Suri. This is the cactus colourway. And it was my first Qing Fibre knit. As you can see, it felted horribly. It accidentally went in the wash, but we do only wash at 30 degrees. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, this is a nice top, and I feel like you could really knit this in summer fab, like in a summer yarn. And it would also benefit from something nice, maybe silk, so it's got a lovely drape to it. the eyelets would show up a lot more if you were to do such a thing. Yeah, Silver Springs by Robin Knits. Gorgeous little pattern, fun little top, and really simple. It's a very, very easy, mindless knit. Yeah, and I think, was that? I'm going to try and pick these up in order, but if I've done multiple of things, then I'll try and talk about them together just to keep it a bit more concise. But I actually think maybe this was the next one. So, if you're a knitter, you might know Autumn and Ivy. Courtney Little, I believe, is the name of the designer. But I had the pleasure, this is the second test knit, of test knitting her second version of the Lydia, which is her little tank top that can be worn reversible. It's got a high front neck and then a V-neck at the back, so you could wear it either way. I tend to wear it with the rounded neck. I feel like, for me, a higher neck probably suits me better. But again, this was knit in Qing Fibre. This is Honeycomb on Merino singles. Oh no. I'll be back in just 1 second. So that wasn't really worth the oh no, but I still figured that I'd have to go and get it because I have knit. Spoiler alert, I've knit 2 of these. But this one was the first one I knit, and I do think this is a gorgeous pattern. Courtney has offered up the option to knit this flat or in the round. I think this was my first bit of lace work, I think I should add that in, and my first tubular cast on, which I really loved. But Courtney offered up the option to knit either flat or in the round, and at the time I was like, oh, I'll just do whatever you need. I was very much like, I didn't know my style of knitting, I didn't know how, if at all, lace was difficult, I didn't really know much about seaming, and I still, hands up, don't. But, so I ended up knitting this flat, and I will one day undo these seams, because they are really bad. There's no reason for it to be this bad, mind. And I did try a couple of times, so I don't know whether I was trying to do it in the dark, which is probably incredibly likely, or what, but so when I knitted this the second time, I did it in the round and it flew off a lot quicker. And I think I'd had a little bit more practice. I've not done much lace work at all, to be honest, and I would like to do more because it's a gorgeous technique. But yeah, initially this didn't get a lot of wear, and I think it's just this neckline. I don't know if it happens on all of them, but initially it rolls quite a bit, and I didn't like that. And then the same with these straps, they almost round under themselves, which actually looks a bit more finished than unrolled. So initially I didn't wear this very much, but recently I have been wearing it quite a bit. And just for, you know, flavour, I have knitted a second one recently. This might be for something special, but we'll see. But again, the reason that I haven't worn it is it just rounds a bit, and I think maybe I need to do some vigorous blocking on it, because I'm not very vigorous when I do these things. I get a bit nervous. And the lace does need blocking. I literally rinsed it and let it dry. I didn't block it out, so I'm going to probably do that on this one. This is Qing Fibre again, on the NOUGAT colourway on the singles. I used the same needle as gauge as recommended. The same needle as gauge? No. I used the recommended needle size and met gauge. I did a slightly smaller size on this one. This fits me perfectly. I don't know why I changed size, but next time I will probably go back up a size. This is very cute. I do really like it, but I feel like maybe I have done something a bit funky here just because it doesn't sit as nicely as the first one. But we were watching a series called Salvation on Netflix while I knitted this, and maybe I was distracted, I don't know. But these are the Lydia, a really great, you know, you can layer these quite nicely with other tank tops and little tops, but also I think they look quite cute with a long sleeve underneath, but I might say that about everything near enough. But a gorgeous summer pattern, and because it's cropped and next to no strap, it's really quite nice to wear no matter the weather. And I guess if you used a silk blend again, it might be a little cooler, and yeah, interesting for me. So that's the Lydia, and then I actually think it was probably still winterish. Let's talk about these. So this is sort of in between. I didn't class it as a jumper and I didn't class it as a little top particularly, but I would say it's more of a top than a jumper, just because. So this is the Cherry by Knit Midori Cafe, and like the two patterns of Midoris that I have knit, I've knit both of them multiple times. This was my first one and it is one of my favourite garments even to this day. So this is knit in Spectrum Fibre. I think it was when she was not new dyer, but she was fairly, you know, new. So this is her smoke colourway on mohair, and as you can tell, I absolutely love it. I believe that the contrast colour, which is barely contrasting anymore actually, is just a Rowan kid silk case that I had in stash for years, because I used to make crochet little snowflake earrings and I loved them. But this is a great oversized piece. I feel like a bit of a fairy when I'm wearing it. I don't know, it has sort of a woodland fairy vibe to me, even though it's more like Elsa from Frozen colours. But this again is so nice that I've knit it twice, and I wear this with everything. I'm going to show all of these, hopefully, as I'm talking, while I'm wearing exactly the same pair of trousers, so that you get an idea of what they look like, how I would wear them, but without taking hours to change. So I am going to wear just my linen trousers that I wear every day. But this goes with everything. You can dress it up quite a lot and dress it down. It is quite warm, whilst not being, I mean, there's next to no weight there. I can put it in my bag, and if I do take it with me now, I do try and remember to put it in a project bag of sorts, just to keep it a bit protected. I have done very well on these. I have not really aged them very much considering how often I wear them. If you are new here, I'm really into mohair. If you've been around, I'm sorry for going on about mohair. I'm not sorry. And then this one is exactly the same. So I did the sort of elbow length puffy sleeves with the bind off. The pattern offers different options for how they can look. A lot of people have knitted this in a worsted weight yarn as well, which is gorgeous. But for me, I just think these are really cute as lighter pieces. And this is Drops mohair in black, very simple. And this is my Space Tiger colourway on mohair. So this is my own hand dyed yarn. And again, I wear these loads. I wore this one to Slipknot, and I've worn this one to basically everything. But I knitted this specifically for Alex's birthday, and I was excited to be able to take a lightweight piece of knitwear to a show that I could put in my bag when it got too warm, but still be rocking some knitwear because knitwear. So yeah, really love this pattern. I believe that I went down a needle size. I think I even went down to a 5 for this one, and I believe I did the same on this. So from memory, I believe the reason that I did a 5 was purely that I didn't have any larger needles. I now own larger needles, but I liked the fit of this so much, I used the same needles. And what I will say is that as I could talk about for a little while, my tension has got more consistent and it has got a bit tighter. I still knit fairly loose, but I generally can match most designers' gauge that I know well. So I'm sort of becoming more in line with not the standard, because there's no such thing as standard, just like there's no standard body, you know. But I am sitting more in line and able to meet gauge a little easier. So I might, if I do it again, I might go up a needle size, or maybe 2 if I want a slightly more oversized version. But again, I love Midori High Rose's patterns. I think they are absolutely stunning. I'm going to try and pile these up sensibly because they are everywhere and I do hope to put them on so that you can see them on and not from old pictures where, you know, so you get an idea of how they look in the same setting. So I think next is the ones that I've sort of made myself. And by made I mean designed, as opposed to knitted from other patterns. So this, I think this is right in the right order. Maybe not. I think this was actually first. Now, if you are a knitter, you will probably have seen a Soldotner, a cropped tee by Caitlin Hunter, knitted in DK weight yarn that is incredibly useful for using up scraps of yarn or those precious single skeins you've got. And I really like this. I didn't wear it for a while, a lot to do with my hair, but also I found that I've used a really warm wools for most of, and again, spoiler alert, I've knitted this more than once, for most of my versions. So this one is using some of my, in fact probably most of the yarns I consider to be my favourite. So I've got 2 kinds of raw work here. The dark green that I've used for the main body is raw work obsidian, I believe, and the light grey is raw work as well, and this is an undyed medium grey, I believe. Then the green that's quite light is a Bucale, I believe, by Kate Davies, and the dark grey is Scout. And overall, this feels wonderful. I really like it. I think really what I'm looking for in my life is a dark grey pair of linen trousers, or a dark grey linen skirt, or a medium grey, so that I can wear this with that sort of item, because I do feel a little bit, it's not a bad thing, that I look like how you would imagine a little 12-year-old boy to dress. Maybe not 12, maybe more like 8-year-old boy, because of my body shape. But that's fine, I'm not upset by that. It's just a bit, I don't know, something that I would have seen in Woolworths for young boys when I worked there. But yeah, and it's also a little bit too warm to be worn in the daytime in the summer, and in the UK it's questionable whether it's warm enough for a summer evening. But I will share the rest of these versions. I believe I did the second to smallest size on this one, and then I did the smallest size on the other 2. So this is my Scotland one. This is, we've got blacky yarns mostly here, I believe. Yeah, so the 2 blues are blacky yarns. The lighter colours are from the gorgeous farm we went to visit a while back. I'll try and remember to link that down in the doodly-doo. But so this is Northumbrian wool that is quite special to me as well. I knitted this when I went to see The Twilight Sad, which I go on about quite often. I'm trying to refrain. And then finally is this version, which I'm not gonna lie, there's some ends. There's some ends in all of these. This again was the smallest size. I could probably go up a size and maybe I'd wear them more. I'm not sure. I think the fit's nice and maybe I'd need to add more length to it, which is not a problem. But again, some gorgeous yarn. This pink was an alpaca blend from my lovely friend Nugget, Becky. There is the remnants of the Scout, the dark grey from my first Soldotner. this gorgeous white gum wool yarn, which I go on about all the time, and then my Jester colourway on a slightly sparkly base that was just leftovers that I had around and had to dye up. So again, so a really good pattern for using up DK, be it special or just bits you've got, because you don't really need that much of each colour no matter what size you're knitting. But I don't know why I've knit it so much, considering I've been a little bit on that. I don't know, they seem too warm for purpose. Mohair for me is light and airy yet warm enough for summer in this sort of fitted top, whereas all over DK, maybe it's because I have mostly chosen rustic wool, is a little bit warm for the summer, but maybe not warm enough for winter unless you layer it. And I don't really have, maybe I just need one nice grey cardigan. So that might be the way to get these worn a bit more, is to have a plain cardigan that I can layer that up with. So now I believe it is my little tops. So this was the first ever little top that I knitted. That was my own creation from my own head, my own brain. And this I lovingly called Oopsie Daisies, because the little pattern at the bottom I knit upside down. It was the first time I did an Icelandic bind off, which I absolutely love. It's very simple, very easy to do, but gives a nice little sass to it. And then this is, oh, I'll get it wrong. I will get it wrong, so I'm not going to say, but I know it's La Bien-Aimée singles, and it only used, from memory, one skein. It was a bit funky, but I designed it while I was on holiday in Menorca. So it's a big wide crop, comes out, and it has a split back and a tie string. Really nice to put on after going in the water, going for a swim. Nice in the evenings, nice during the day, or wore it with a skirt, which I wish I knew where was, because it would go with those soldotnas very, very well. But yeah, really like this little top. And it led on to different variations, including one that I have ended up releasing for sale, which is mind-boggling to me. But then this version, so the lovely Becky from Back to Blighty did a gorgeous Forget-Me-Not sock set, and when I saw it I instantly knew that I wanted to knit a different version of the top. So it has a little bit of a texture at the bottom, and I used what would have been for the heels and toes to add a bit of colour in towards the texture, and at the top and the little tie. So again, it's got a split back and it's quite oversized, loose, and covering enough that I don't have to wear anything underneath it in the summer, but obviously you can. But I don't wear anything under it, and it makes it very cool. If I'd maybe used something like a more singles like the first one that I did, it might be even more so, because this has got a bit of blue faced Leicester, I believe, high twist, but I still wear it quite a lot, and I love it when I see Becky dye up this colourway. So then what that led on to is, actually I started this one while I was on holiday, and this was called the Cala because that is where we were, and I'm in a bit of a tangle. There we go. So this was inspired by being away. This has a much improved fit, comes down nicely, it's a little bit longer, not quite as wide, and I'm really pleased with this. This was knitted in Dark Forest Qing Fibre on their Silky Merino base, which is a fantastic summer yarn. If you ask me, it's really nice to wear. I've enjoyed wearing it very much. This has seen a lot of wear. Again, it's got the split back that comes down quite nicely, and yeah, so this means quite a lot to me. I started knitting this by the pool, by the seaside, and I was really taken back by the response, not just from knitters but other people that saw me wearing this were like, oh, that's really pretty. So I'm really pleased that I've managed to put this out into the world. Just before I did, I knit myself a second version, and this is Sunshine Type, which is my own colourway on my yak base, and again, I love this version. I have worn this quite a bit, even with something underneath, like a long sleeve top, but in the summer, it's just really nice to be able to wear a hand knit top. That they seem to dry really quickly. I don't really know why. I guess there's not loads of fabric there really, but this is something I'm very proud of, and I don't really know what else to say about it. I think it's a okay written pattern. I've done my best. I've done as best as I can on sizing on that, and yeah, I believe it's just a 3mm or 3.25mm needle, so it does open up a lot of sizes. Sizes substitute yarns. I think you could use a lot of different yarns for that and still meet gauge. And I was actually saying the other night, I would love to do a couple of versions where I omit the texture work and have mohair along the bottom. So I might do that as something fun to knit for myself. But at the moment I don't really need any more knitted tops, and I have one at the end that I'll show you, and I might be knitting that again, so I really don't need to knit more. This is just a bit of fun. This was a Qing Fibre club colourway, and I just wanted to see what I could do on the knitting machine. So this has a really funny shape, so it's almost impossible to show you, but the front is very much the same as the forget-me-not top that I did, but the back is completely open. It has two parts to the side, so it's open, but it has a crisscross halter. You can almost see. So that's the back, and then it opens up. So I wore this quite a lot last summer. Excuse me, maybe I should have some water. When I was at festivals and things, because it was really warm, and again it was breathable, and I could just throw it on. And also I find that I can hand wash, where I do hand wash my knits, I feel a bit, more comfortable hand washing these when I'm out and about. But this is reefed, like I said, on the Qing Fibre Merino singles, and I knit it mostly on the knitting machine. So I did hand finished it, the ribbing, but the rest I did on the knitting machine. So not much to share there, but shows you what you can do and what you could have for summer knitting. Wow, wow, wow. I think this is the order. So this is, again, this is one that I really like. I go through phases where I might dabble in wearing fake vintage, reproduction vintage. I used to dress like I lived in the 1940s and 50s for 6 or 7 years. I really enjoyed doing it. I phased out wearing makeup just for health reasons. I phased out dyeing my hair, and I don't know why I dyed it. So I really, became a lot more simple with what I wear and practical, though I always did it as practical as I could and as low maintenance, because even then, if I have to reapply my lipstick more than once in 24 hours, I'm not wearing it. Pin my hair up, it will stay like that, I won't do anything with it. That sort of level of ease for me. So every now and then I do like to still dabble, and that is where sorry, bless me, where Poison Girl Knits comes in. Amy Appel is amazing. So this is the Beauty School, no, this is the Rizzo. This is the Rizzo tee. It has beautiful texture around the yoke and some eyelets. It's cropped but fitted. It's got gorgeous waist shaping. It's got gorgeous shaping end off. The sleeves are, you know, not really there, but still perfectly formed. Amy is a really wonderful designer. You get a lot of information for your money when you purchase from her. She'll tell you how to do between sizes. And this one, you know, I can see a lot of versions looking modern as well as vintage, as much so as you wanted. And it can be styled in that way too. It looks fine with my, you know, my linen trousers that I wear all the time. Looks really sassy with a plaid skirt, which I've got a really nice tartan one at the moment that I quite like wearing it with. But yeah, again, Dark Forest, Qing Fibre, Merino singles, silky Merino singles. I haven't worked there in a while. But yeah, Amy's patterns, I can't talk highly enough about them. I'm sure I met gauge on this using the recommended needle size, and from memory I think I knit this while I was backing and forthing into London for the Greenwich music festivals. I'm just gonna let Audrey in. Are you gonna come say hi? Oh, you are. Oh, there she is. You're not really that fussed about being in today, are you? Oh, you are. We having a kitten interlude. So if you haven't met Audrey before, this is Audrey. She is our little house tiger. She loves to sleep around the house, sit around the house, play with all the yarn, and cause a little bit of mischief. Anyway, more knitting, more mohair. So this was knitted because we were going to celebrate my granddad's 80th birthday and my grandma's 81st. And it was knitted using a Sega mohair. I can't remember the colourway, but it's just a very much peachy nude colour. Hi. That's it, you just sit on them. And this is the ranunculus. This is a pattern that I have knitted 4 times now, and I'll show you the 4th version. Version 2 and 3 were knitted using heavier weight yarn, a DK weight yarn, and well, DK or Aran, I think it was more Aran weight, with long sleeves, so they don't fit into this category of little tops, but this one does. It is a gorgeous pattern by MIDORI Cafe. I'm so silly, I'm like but it's an oversized cropped little top, short little sleeves, and it flies off the needles. The texture work is so much fun to knit that by the time you finish the texture work, you've only got this tiny short amount of body to knit. It's wonderful. Again, I think this looks really, really cute with any trousers, any skirts, any dresses worn over the top or underneath. Dungarees, a very, very versatile piece, but this was knitted to wear at my granddad's party. At the time I was feeling very unwell, so though there's pictures of me wearing it, I'm sort of moping, trying to be as happy as I can for my family. But yeah, again, I think I knitted it on a 5mm needle purely because I don't have anything bigger, but I know that at the time specifically I was a very loose knitter, so I thought it would still be playing it fairly safe, and yeah, I found it fits me perfectly. It's a really nice fit. The oversizedness is very forgiving, I believe. Not that I'm suggesting not to gauge swatch, because if you can and you enjoy it, I really do recommend it, because gauge is super, 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 super important, as well we know. And then we have been hosting a little ranunculus along, which will just keep going, it seems. Most people that have finished them in the group have either got another cast on or hoping to cast on more. A couple of them have gone steaming ahead, and the lovely Natalie, I believe, is going to end up with 4 versions too. But that's quite cool. So I really wanted to join in, but if you watched last episode, you'll know I cast on using a beautiful colour called Rust from La Bien-Aimée in Mohair, and it was just too vibrant. It made me look a bit strange. I don't know why, but it really didn't work for me. And I ripped out a shawl that I was working on that I just didn't think was going to be right, and knitted a black version, and I expected to wear this a little bit, or a fair amount, because it's black, it's mohair, it's really lightweight. This is 35 grams in total. But I wear this a lot. I've been wearing this a real lot. I wore it on my birthday, so I went out to what I consider to be a very, very fancy restaurant, but then I've worn it just, you know, day to day as well. So it's a very, very versatile piece. Black has significantly helped in how often I wear it. It's still quite light, so even in the warm it's pretty okay to be wearing, and it just layers over anything, especially these little tops that I will get onto very soon. Again, I knit this using a 5mm needle because I knew how much I liked the fit, and I didn't change anything apart from I did the stockinette a little bit longer and shortened the ribbing, so it is exactly the same length as suggested in pattern. Ranunculus, Midori High Rose. Wonderful pattern. Really Moorish pattern. It's got that N+1 rule that Alex says about bikes. You always, where N is the bikes and the +1 is how many you should have, it's always an extra 1. The ranunculus for many seems to be that logic. I'm going to try not to knit another one, though. I was thinking of maybe doing a cardigan version, which would be good for these maybe, but maybe it's a bit too patterned. Maybe I want something really simple if I'm doing a grey cardigan. But yeah. Ooh, we're getting through them. I don't know that there's much. No, there is still a fair bit. This top, Jessie May has made my summer with knits that we'll talk about shortly. But this was the, I'm gonna say it wrong, diaphanous raglan. And I got really excited because it uses sort of one skein of each yarn. It's got a mohair and I believe it was sock. And this is knitted using Norris, a Qing Fibre colourway, mohair and super soft sock. So it feels nice. But if I ever knit this again, I might rip out the sleeves, pick them up, and even though it would mess it up a bit, I might still do it. Pick them up and do it long sleeve, because I've just found that having the double layer is just a little bit too much for summer-ish wear. It might be good in autumn and maybe spring, I don't know. Yeah, it's lovely. I love the shape, it's really cute, but I haven't worn it. I don't think I've worn it out of the house yet. And I've had it for quite a while, so maybe it's just because it's, you know, a little bit more colourful than the ranunculus and cherry. Maybe that's to do with it. Maybe if it was in a different colour I'd wear it more. But this might be something that I gift. It's cute. I'm not really a v-neck person, but I was really excited to have a pattern that I could have my single skein of fingering weight and a single skein of mohair. But I don't know that it quite fit the bill for me perfectly. And that's not to say it's not a beautiful pattern or it doesn't suit everyone else, because it truly does. But it's just not really for me. I think I would like a long version, but again, the V-neck thing's not really my... I don't know why. It's not really ever been my thing. I do really like my Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter, and I do wear that. But yeah, so that's that one. Jessie May's patterns are incredibly inclusive, not just from a sizing perspective, but from pricing too. So she is fantastic as a designer, and I really do love her work. I think this is beautiful, very well written, but again, just not an item that I'm wearing particularly, so there you go. Just before I knitted that, actually, I knitted this for myself, and this was a little test, and I really like it. I feel like it's a shame that the sleeves are have so many stitches in, because it's just a little bit too puffy, which is probably really cute, but this was something that I designed for myself because I just wanted to wear mohair and crop top. So this is yarn from Once Upon a Corgi. This is her Never Trust a Prince colourway. Beautiful colour, with matching mohair. And yeah, I'm really happy with this, but like I said, there's too many stitches in the sleeves. I fixed that by popping a little bit of lace in there, elastic. So I do wear this, and I wear it a fair amount, not loads. Especially didn't wear it when I had accidentally purple and blue hair. But this is more my thing. I think just because it doesn't have the mohair in the body, it makes it a little bit more wearable. But it was a really nice fit apart from the sleeves, which is a real shame. And I could start it again. I have noted down what I've done, but I just haven't got there yet, and that's okay. But yeah, again, I don't really have much to say on this. I met my own gauge. And I do find that it can be layered over these little tops or just a little cami style bra thing, and it's quite warm without being too hot. You know, it's a good indoor jumper top because it covers and you're covered, but you're not like, it's not dense fabric or anything. Yeah, really like this one. Then, oh, we're getting through, we're nearly done. You have to excuse the hair on this one. Last time I wore this I was clearly molting. I really love Rachel of Unwind Knitwear's designs. I think she is a very, very talented, a very creative, very styled in a certain way designer. I just think she's wonderful. I've done a few test knits for her, and this was one that I really love doing, and this is the Art Nouveau tee. She's just released the Nomad tee, which I really recommend having a look at too. And when I was working on this colour work, having done the body in black, was fine. I have no issue with knitting in one colour, especially black. It's totally fine to me, so that's not an issue at all. But when I got to the colour work, I was smiling through it. I really, really enjoyed this colour work, and I don't know why. And Rachel actually released a cowl pattern based on that. I said to her that it's so Moorish, it should be a cowl, and she has released it. I believe some money that was raised for charity for releasing that pattern, which I think is really cool too. It's got this gorgeous chevron, which you won't be able to see. I'm not going to try and, but it has a beautiful chevron stitching at the top, which maybe if I had not done it in black would have shown up better. But I used Drops Flora, I believe. So it's got a bit of alpaca in it from memory, which gives it quite a nice drape. And I do like it, But I think for me, I would have done the body a bit shorter. That's the only thing, and that's not on anything because it was knitted exactly to pattern, how it should fit. But for me, where my body's quite short, it hangs over my top, my trousers, and I quite like a tuck, and it means that you can't quite see the colour work, so it's a bit of a shame. But I might fudge it soon and split it and graft it back together, we'll see. I do have enough yarn to do that. But again, a gorgeous pattern, very clear in the way it's written, and really fun. But it's that sort of, it is a bit lighter weight, and maybe if I'd have used a more similar yarn to Rachel, she used a more merino-y, maybe, just maybe I'd wear it a bit more because it wouldn't be so warm. But that colour work is just so good. But yeah, like I said, maybe I do just need a grey cardigan that I can layer over all of these t-shirt jumpers and make them a little bit more wearable. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can't see this on very well, but I will show you the others because I've knitted this 3 times. This is the my secret crop by Jessie May, and I've knitted 6 of these now. I've gifted 3 of them away. This is white gum wool, which is the most amazingly soft merino I've ever encountered. It was a gift, and this top I wear every other day, every few days. I love it. It fits well. It's a great alternative to underwear, as I've said and do say. I'm quite conscious about wearing things that are too fitted, and that's not because I'm conscious of my body or anything like that. It's purely for health reasons. I stopped wearing underwear 10 years ago because of an article I read that was not an article, it was, results from a piece of research that was being done. And for me, what my takeaway was, it's not great for the body to be squished in and uncomfortable. Some people it needs to happen, people are different, that's fine. I'm not telling everyone you can't wear. But for me, it was like, oh, okay, I don't really need to. I really don't need to. Apart from when I'm exercising, because that is better for you. I learnt that at Sweaty Betty. But anyway, these are a great alternative. Great for layering throughout when it gets cooler, I'm sure. Great under all of these tops. Basically every single one that I've shown you, I could wear one of these underneath. It's a simple ribbed crop top in numerous sizes, so it's an incredibly inclusive pattern. It has this cute double I-cord strap that you can do halter neck, straight over or crossed. I've done mine all straight. That's the style choice for me. I just think it's more simple and better for layering, but it looks really cute with the cross straps. This one is Qing Fibre in slate, I believe. It was a bit of a maybe lighter, more red colour than normal. And then this one is my Ford colourway on my high twist base. I love that colour. And then Okanami by Qing Fibre, which was left over from a cowl that I did. And that was left over from a scarf that I did. So I really recommend these again for summer. I wear these all the time, wear them out. I practice yoga in them, go for a bike ride in them, sit around the house in them. Fantastic. And in the same vein, Jessie has also released a secret summer top? Yeah, that was released for free to begin with, and it's basically a very similar thing but in stockinette. So this is, I can now share it, this is the Hamster Unicorns colourway by the Corner of Craft. Gorgeous on her sturdy sock base, and this is really cute. Could probably have gone a size up, but it's very fitted, it's quite nice, and a really fun colour. Hannah, you're amazing. Hamster Unicorns. brilliant. Then I did go up, no, I believe I did the same size, but I knitted it in DK knowing that it would come out bigger. And this is the white gum wool yet again, because I put every scrap I possibly could into projects. And then dark forest moss, it was from a scarf again from Qing Fibre on super soft DK base. I added stripes in because I was trying to use every last scrap of this grey, and I think I achieved it. Yeah, so Jessie made secret little summer tops that are just wonderful. Wear them all the time. I do recommend maybe swatching for these summer ones, more so than the ribbed ones. The ribbed ones have got a lot of give. This fabric might be too clear, too sheer for my liking. I do wear a little white top underneath. This one's perfect, so I would suggest just swatching your fabric and seeing what you get. I think it would be really nice to do a cotton and linen version, a big, like, oversized version, but I haven't got any, haven't done it, so I can't tell you whether that's true or not. And then finally, this is one that I haven't shared here before, and I'm really quite pleased with it. Hi Audrey, she's just sort of woken herself up, bless her. I'll just show you, I'm really pleased with it. So this, I did run out of yarn, the DK yarn, but I have made a gift cowl for Alex's mum, and I loved the mohair so much that I had to use it in a project, and it wasn't enough to be able to do a ranunculus or anything like that, so I got creative and made this. This is my little, I don't know what to call it really, it's a swirly top, something like that. And then this is a colour that I just created. I over dyed it about 4 times. It took me about 3 hours to untangle. It was the first yarn that I dyed years ago, like a year ago when I first started. So it has been dyed a few times and took quite a bit to untangle. And this one was dyed with tea and turmeric, and I love the colour, and I had every intention of over dyeing it so that it sort of faded a bit more, like really dyeing it a dark colour, and then, but I'm actually really happy with how it's turned out with the striping, so I don't think I'm going to do anything with it to change the colour. It took a little bit of jigging to figure out if this was going to work, how it was going to work. It has short rows in the back, which I'm really happy with. I love the way it fits. It was different to how I intended because of the maths I needed to do it. I ended up doing the sleeves a little bit more fitted than I anticipated, but overall I'm really happy with this. Again, you'll probably see me walking across the screen, hopefully, with it on. But this is something that I really like. I love the way the I-cord bind off looks on the sleeves. I love the ripples. I love that you could get away with not wearing anything under because it's looser fitted and covered rather than all mohair. So yeah, yeah. So this colour was, just to clarify, this gorgeous mohair that I've been talking about for quite some time is Lallybrock by Ginger's Hand Dyed, which is Jess of Ginger Twist Studio in Edinburgh, which Jess is really sweet. I would like to go and visit her again when I'm a bit braver on camera and asking questions. We had a really nice time, but yeah, I would like to go see her again, especially since her space has been, she has a very small shop and it is absolutely gorgeous, but she's just decked it out again and it looks fantastic. So yeah, swirly little top, and ta-da! That is everything. That is every sort of little summer top that I haven't gifted. I've gifted a few, a couple have been samples, but the rest are all here. I hope that might have helped inspire you to be a bit more, not judging anyone's creativity levels, but it might have inspired a bit of creativity, you know, playing with different yarns, different fabrics, how they work and how they might be more wearable or able to incorporate into your wardrobe. I find that most of these sit nicely with a pair of plain linen trousers or a skirt, plain dress, dungarees. Like, they're quite, most of them are quite versatile. Yeah, so hopefully that was slightly insightful or useful in any way. Thank you so much for joining me and little Audrey today. I hope you are having a lovely week no matter where you are. If you're off school, I hope you're enjoying yourself, getting a bit of extra knitting done maybe. Otherwise, it's been really nice chatting with you, and I hope to see you again very soon.